Good afternoon. This is AP Language, Ms. Parker, for Thursday, April 6th, 2017. Yesterday, you should have finished those worksheets and turned them in to Mr. Campbell to get that graded. And then I gave you the first 5 discussion questions for the test tomorrow. And then today I want to add a couple more questions that you need to be prepared to answer. So we'll start with number 6. The question says, why was literacy for slaves considered dangerous? Make sure you can explain this and explain the thought that the slave owners had for this of why they didn't want their slaves to be literate. Number 7, how is Douglas affected by being literate? This is another little pretty simple question of discussion of how the ability to read opens up his mind and shows him things that he was didn't know about before that. Number 8, the question is, what climactic event in Douglas's life as a slave occurs in chapter 10? We talked about kind of the turning point or the climax of the story, so make sure within his life what you see there in chapter 10 happens to him that pretty much changes everything, and look for the metaphor in which he compares that to and be able to explain that. Number 9, the question is, what does Douglas speculate is the reason for more slaves not attempting to escape? So again, take a minute and look back on that and how he discussed, and again, this was in one of the worksheets we did a couple of days ago with dealing with their relationships with other slaves. And the 10th question, why was work in the North so fulfilling to Douglas? This was that last worksheet that you did. It had that great quote on it talking about how it was his choice, he was his own master, and how much fun, for lack of a better term, that work was, and explaining that it had to do with the circumstances, not necessarily the work itself. And then the last one, it says, explain the irony both inherent and actualized in the religious slave owners. Make sure you know what irony is and that you're able to discuss these. Remember that these questions, yes, they'll be on the test. Any or all are fair game. They are not, though, full-blown essays that you're writing. They're 2 to 4 or 5 sentence answers and explanations, where they'd be more like a short answer discussion. So make sure you're aware of that so you don't run out of time when you're taking the test. At the same time, be careful that you're not too curt or abrupt with your answers and that they lack the specificity and the elaboration needed to get full credit. Again, if you have any questions or you're not sure of something, you can come in and see me before school or after school, or you can send me an email at christythomas@hjisd.net. And again, tomorrow is your test, and then Monday we'll go to some practice over AP Language stuff for the exam. All right.